Hi, in this episode I'm going to be taking another look at the classic Alesis SR16 drum machine. Now, I did a review of the Alesis SR16 a while ago, and the response to that video was very huge. I was really delighted to see that many people were just as interested in this classic drum machine as I was. Now today I'm going to be taking a specific look at one of the features of the SR16. I'm going to be taking a detailed look at how to edit the pads on the SR16. More specifically, we're going to learn how to adjust the volume, the pan, and the tuning for each of the pads on the SR16. So let's have a look and see how we adjust these settings on the pads of the Alesis SR16. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we make changes to the pad settings on the Alesis SR16, and I'm going to be using this button right here, which creates a snare sound. You can hear it. Okay, so to change the settings on the pads of the SR16, basically I just choose the sound I want to adjust, and again in this case I'm going to be doing this snare sound, and I'm going to press this button here called Drum Set. And when I press that button, all of a sudden, if you look up here on the screen, I have access to all the different parameters that I can adjust with the pad settings. And if I adjust the tempo buttons over here, it will show me all the parameters that I can adjust. For example, volume, panning, tuning, all kinds of different settings. Okay? So the first one I'm going to adjust here is volume. So again, it's telling us that the current setting for volume is 87. Well, let's say I want to make that a little bit louder. So I'm going to use these arrow up and down buttons over here, and I'm going to press the arrow up button to make it a bit louder. So now it's up to 93. So let's see how that sounds. Yeah, nice and loud, but maybe I want it even louder. As you can see, the loudest I can set it is 99. That's good and loud. I like the sound of that. So, very simply, that is how I adjust the volume setting on that pad. Now we'll go over here again to the tempo up and down buttons here, and I'm going to switch to panning. Okay, and again I'm going to use these buttons over here to adjust the pan. And as you can see, when I press this arrow down button, the little arrow on the screen goes far to the left. And you probably can't tell it here in this video recording, but as I'm listening through my monitors, I can tell that now the snare is panned hard to the left. If I press the arrow up button, it's going to come back to the center, and when it's centered, you're going to see two arrows side by side, just like that, one pointing left, one pointing right, and that indicates that the sound is now centered. If I want to pan the sound hard to the right, I press the arrow up button again, and now you can see the arrow is far to the right, telling me that that sound is now panned hard to the right. Okay, but for the purpose of this demonstration, let's say I want to have it in the middle. So I'm going to press the arrow down button and bring it back to the middle, and again you can see right there I have both the arrow facing left and the arrow facing right, showing me that it is now centered. Now the next setting we're going to take a look at is tuning, and tuning can be very interesting. I find with some drum machines when you change the tuning, you get a very small change to the overall sound, but with other drum machines it's quite dramatic. So as you can see right now, the tuning is set to 0. I'm going to play around with it a little bit, and I'm going to go into the minus settings. You see it's now at -1, -2, -3. And as you can tell, the tone of the snare drum is going down. -4. And that's as far down as it will go. So I'm going to bring the tuning back up to -3, -2, -1, and back to 0. Now let's try bringing the tuning up. +1, +2, +3, and that's as high up as it will go. So you can basically choose depending on what kind of song you're working on. Maybe you're working on some dark industrial track and you want the drums to have sort of a brooding, ominous sound to them. To my ears, the -4 would bring the snare to that appropriate setting that would sound good in a song like that. Let's just see how that sounds with the snare or with the bass drum. Sounds pretty good. Well, I'm going to bring the tuning back up to 0. And let's see how it sounds. Let's bring it up to +3. And we'll try playing it, the kick drum and the snare. Let's see how it sounds at +3. Pretty good, and definitely different. Again, with tuning, I find that it all depends on the temperament of your song and the mood of your song, and you can really adjust the tuning of the individual pads to really complement the overall mood of the track that you are working on. So basically, again, that is how I adjust the various pad settings on the Alesis SR16. Again, just to review, I select the drum set button. That gives me all the different parameters that I can adjust on that pad, and I can move between parameters over here with the tempo up and the tempo down button. So as you can see, I got my output main, my volume, my panning, my tuning, assign mode, all of those things. And once you're done, when you are satisfied with all the changes you've made to all the settings, you can actually save it to that drum set. You can save that individual adjusted sound to that drum set. And that's basically how you do it. So that is how you adjust the pad settings on the Alesis SR16. I hope you found this video useful. And if you use the SR16, please tell me, what do you love about this drum machine? Leave a comment below. Tell me, what are your favorite features of the Alesis SR16? What are some of the things that you don't like about this drum machine? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below, give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you. And please, as always, subscribe to the channel. I post new tech reviews every week, and the best way to stay on top of all the latest reviews is to subscribe. Just click on that little red square down in the bottom right corner, and you will be subscribed. As easy as that. Thank you very much. I hope you can join us again next time. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.